Hi, and welcome back to the Crooked Pigs Barbecue channel. On today's episode, we're going to do a video about how we make a smoked brisket chili using our leftover brisket trim. I don't know about you folks, but I cook a lot of briskets at my house, and when I do, I have a lot of trim that's left over that I don't smoke in the whole brisket, whether that's point meat if I'm not cooking the point, or just the edges that I trim when I'm shaping that brisket. And so what I like to do is figure out versatile ways to use this. Sometimes I'll make tacos, sometimes we'll make spaghetti, we'll grind it into burgers. But on today's episode, we're going to make a chili. So here on the board, I've got about 1.75 pounds of brisket trim. This is from a Snake River Farms brisket. It's trimmed into about 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch pieces. Got those nicely trimmed, and I've dusted it with Meat Church's new Texas Sugar Barbecue Rub. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this pan out to the smoker. We're going to put about 30 to 45 minutes worth of smoke onto the meat. Then we're going to bring it back in, sear it in our pan, and start to assemble our chili. So we'll be right back. We'll show you how we put this on the smoker. All right, I've got my Weber kettle set up here. It's sitting at about 300 degrees. I just put a chunk of wood on it. Now we're gonna set that brisket right on the over top of the flame. I'm gonna put the lid on it, leave the damper wide open, and make sure that I adjust that intake damper underneath so that it stays right around 300 degrees. And we'll come back in about 30 minutes and check on it. We'll be right back. All right, while those brisket chunks are getting some smoke flavor on them out on the pellet cooker, I'm gonna show you how we assemble the rest of it. So first I've got a half of one small white onion chopped finely here. And to that, we're gonna add our aromatics and other spices. The first thing I'd like to mention is that I've cooked ICS chili comps, I've cooked a number of chili competitions, and there are a lot of fancy chili powders you can order out on the market. However, in your grocery store, there's not a lot of great ones available. One I like though is this Carol Shelby chili kit. I don't use the entire kit, I just take the chili powder out of here. Gebhardt's is another great brand you can buy at your local Walmart. So I take about 1/2 cup of that chili powder here and set this aside. To that, I add some other chili powders that I purchased down the Latino food section. First, I'll take some New Mexico chili powder. I've got about a tablespoon of that. And to that, I add some California chili powder. I've got about a tablespoon of that. I like to buy these down the Latino aisle because you can get them fresh, they're inexpensive, and they're available at almost every grocery store, but any Walmart. Now, I've got some cumin. We've got about 1.5 tablespoons of cumin, and that's all set aside, ready to go. And in addition to this, I've got 2 cups of beef stock, some tomato sauce. You can use any brand you like. I like this brand. It's seasoned with some garlic and onion already. And I'll take about a large can of red enchilada sauce. Now, you've got to be careful with the brand you choose. Many of these are mostly tomato based. I like to control how much tomato I add to my chili independently of the chili, or of the chili flavor. And so I like to look for an enchilada sauce that is primarily made from chili powder, and this is primarily made from chili powder. So we'll take this all over to the stove, and I'll show you how we make the chili from here. All right, here we've got a Dutch oven. I like this enamel coated cast iron Dutch oven. I've got it preheated over medium-high heat. It's getting pretty hot. I'm gonna turn it all the way up to high right now, and I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of cooking oil to the bottom of that. As soon as that starts to smoke, we're gonna add our beef that we've pulled from the smoker. And it is getting close. That was a hot pan. I can just see wisps of smoke now, and so to this, we're going to go ahead and add our beef. I'm gonna try not to get too much of the liquid in there first, then I'm gonna cool the pan off. And we're going to start moving that relatively quickly. As you can hear, that was a really hot pan, and that's how we want it. So we get some good sear on that beef. Now you can see there's some fond developing on the bottom. We're going to continue to scrape that off a little as we cook. All right, now we've got some good brown beef going here. All right, and that beef's got a pretty good sear on it now. It was partially cooked to begin with, so now what we're going to do is add the reserve liquid from that smoked beef and continue to deglaze that pan a little, get as much of that fond off the bottom as we can. You can already see we're getting a nice, rich base going here for our chili. All right. Now to this, we're gonna add our onion. We're gonna go in with our half cup of onion right now, and we're gonna soften that. Okay, we've got a good high heat, so that is starting to soften already. And that'll be good right there. Now we're going to start with about half of our Carol Shelby chili powder. All of our New Mexico chili, half of our cumin, and all of our California chili powder. And we're gonna give that a good stir. All right. And now to that, I'm going to add our 2 cups of beef stock and our half of a can, large can, of red enchilada sauce. And we're gonna let that come to a simmer and reduce the heat. And we are almost starting to simmer already. All right, you can see that it's starting to simmer. So we're gonna turn this down to a nice medium-low heat, and we're gonna let that cook for about 45 minutes. Then we're going to come back, we're gonna add our last spice dump and some of our tomato sauce and cook it for just another few minutes, and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, the chili's been simmering for about 45 minutes now. We're gonna come back, we're gonna put the remainder of our chili powder seasoning, the remainder of our cumin, and another little splash of the enchilada sauce. We're gonna stir that up. And now we're gonna simmer for just a few more minutes. When we come back, we're gonna add a few dashes of true lime just to brighten it up a little, or you can squeeze some fresh lime juice if you'd like, and it'll be ready to go. All right, we just finished up that last spice dump, and I forgot we need to add the tomato sauce. So we're going to add maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce here to our mixture. Set that aside, stir it in, and now cook for maybe 20 more minutes until that meat is nice and tender, and then we'll show you how we plate it. All right, we're back. Our chili is thickened up and our brisket is nice and tender in here. We're going to go ahead and serve this up in a bowl. Show you how we like to serve it at our house. 2 nice big scoops. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit this with just a little bit of this true lime, or you can squeeze some fresh lime juice, but I like to just sprinkle a little true lime on top to brighten that chili up just a little bit. Just a tiny little sprinkle works good. Now I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of cilantro, a dollop of fresh sour cream, and a sprinkle of Monterey Jack cheese, Colby Jack cheese that is. And that's how we like to serve it. And that is your finished brisket chili, and let's taste this and see just how it turned out this time. Perfect. You can really taste the complex flavors of all the chili peppers. The brisket is nice and tender. And that lime, that true lime, really just brightens it up. Then you get that nice little bit of cilantro in there. It's a delicious chili for a nice, cool fall evening. I encourage you to try this with your leftover brisket trim, or just buy some tri-tip or some brisket and go ahead and trim it up and make your chili without having to cook a brisket to begin with. But this is a great recipe. We'd love to hear what you think of it. Go ahead and comment in the comment section if you've tried this recipe. And please remember to like our YouTube video here and subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so that you can get notified of all the upcoming updates to the Crooked Pigs channel. Thank you.